What is up, guys? Welcome back to part 23 of our WordPress tutorial for beginners series. And today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about a little more SEO strategies and a little more about ranking your website. This is a huge topic that has tons of branches. I mean tons. This tree, if it was a tree, would be the size of New York. Okay, this tree is big, and it has tons of fields you could get into about all the different things and all the different strategies, and everybody has their own strategy and way to go about this. But what I want to do is just keep it real simple. I made a list of just some more final ideas that I wanted to share about SEO for your WordPress site from my experiences. And so here's a text-based list of those things. First, and to try to keep it under 10 minutes, I'm just going to fly right into this here. Number one, local customer reviews. And a lot of this is going to, by the way, be geared towards local ranking, because this is much easier to do than national ranking. And this is going to change based on if you're trying to go for a national keyword. But let's just assume that you're that flower shop in Chicago or a pizza shop in Colorado Springs or something like that. So number one is local customer reviews, real and published on the site. This is a big thing, and Google likes to look at this, as far as I know, right? A lot of this is from my own research, and so that's as far as I know. But Google really likes local customer reviews. They give a lot of weight to real reviews left by customers for your site, and so it's good to show them. It's really good to encourage people to do that because it shows engagement, supposedly, right? This is how it works, is that the more engagement you get by showing real customer reviews, Google rewards those kind of sites because they are obviously providing the service and customers are giving reviews based on it. And that's the first one, and I would encourage you to work on that. Number two is claiming your Google Business and Google Maps to get it listed. You know when you search in Google and it gives those map listings at the top? Those are people who went in and claimed their map location, and then Google will send you a little postcard that has a code on it, and you enter that code in to verify that you're real, and then you get listed in the Google Business Maps, and you start showing up in the SEO for when people type in. You show up in the map section versus just in the results of the links, and they're starting to push the maps to the very top. So a lot of those guys are getting a lot of the search volume to them, and so that's you want to be in there. The third thing is focusing on local keywords. This is a big one. A lot of people make the mistake of trying to go too big too fast. And I did this. I'm absolutely guilty of this crime 100%. And that is when you're typing in, like you're going for a car insurance keyword, right? And so you're going to type in, you want people to type in car insurance. Well, even though Google's really localized these days, it localizes people's results on their location, it's still easier to target the keyword. I put in here an example, car insurance Colorado Springs is so much easier than car insurance. And that's because you're a local firm versus you're a Geico or one of those guys. And it's going to be much simpler for you over the long run to rank, in my experience anyways, to rank this over this. And I could go into, there's tons of case studies on this for local keywords where it's much more effective for somebody who's newer to do this thing rather than this thing, because you're competing against much bigger budgets in this thing than you are in this thing. The fourth thing is make your business information prominent. I didn't do this in the beginning, and I actually found out on my own that when you do this and you actually show Google that you look like a legitimate business, they kind of treat you more like a legitimate business. And of course, this can always be worked around with whatever, getting telephone numbers that are like 1-800 numbers that you can buy online and stuff like that. But primarily, if you make yourself at least look more legitimate with your phone numbers and your contacts and your emails, and your company actually looks like a company, then Google's going to be much more likely to see you as a real company. Go figure, right? Because you actually look like one. The fifth thing is creating articles and for local content. You know how we talked about curation? Well, sometimes it's better to create content locally to your zone, and then Google's going to start looking at your information and saying, hey, this guy's writing, everything he writes is about Colorado Springs. Everything in this person's website is about Colorado Springs. Maybe, just maybe, this person lives and or works around Colorado Springs. And I can, what a far jump, right? Like, that's a huge bridge for them to cross. Like, all this content about Colorado Springs, oh, these guys must live in China, right? No, they're going to say you probably live and or work around Colorado Springs, so therefore you're becoming more of an authority on Colorado Springs information. And I wanted to show you, if you've never seen it before, one good way to come up with localized content, if the plugin isn't doing it for you, is Google Alerts. And this is just google.com/alerts. And if you're looking to get ideas for content on what to write for a local, or maybe you're paying somebody to write articles, or however you're going about this, you can actually just type in car insurance or something like that in here and leave all the options default. And if you take a look, this is going to start giving you the top or most relevant articles about car insurance. And a lot of this is going to have to do with coronavirus because that's what's going on right now. But see, like what insurers won't tell you, there's a lot of stuff as a car insurance agency that you could take from here and you could write. And this is a preview. So, this is an alert preview. So you could actually enter your email and it would alert you real time with stuff that you could go in and curate or write your own version of and target it to wherever your city is, Colorado Springs or Chicago or Philadelphia or Miami or Houston or wherever it is. And that's going to help you a lot in your localized SEO versus trying to target on a broad national scale. And you know what? Your articles might even show up in here. It depends on how syndicated you are with Google and all that. The last thing in here, the last quick thing I wanted to say was that there's a few things you can do inside your WordPress site for creating just that little extra bit of SEO over your competitors, even though you'll find that competition's not really, it depends on your field. A lot of times if you go that extra 10%, there really is no competition. And part of going that extra 10% is a couple of these ideas I just gave here. The first one is actually naming your images for keywords. And I don't see a lot of people doing this. So like this top flower image right here, the file name is not let's actually go into the media and I'll show you what I mean. So the file name was just whatever I saved it as when I was on Pexels, right? Which is the place I showed you to download images for free. That's pexels.com, Pexels.com. So if you look at this is the name of the picture that we downloaded. Well, would you say that that's an optimized name for a search engine? Or would you say that the file name is not optimized for local keywords in a search engine? Because I can tell you right now what it is. And one way you can take this further is you can actually name this Chicago Belfort, Chicago Flowers, Red Rose, right? Would be much more of an optimized image name than this right here. And also you would do on image SEO as well, like alternative text. The alternative text, this is for describing the image, is for screen readers and stuff like that. So it's pretty good to fill that out too. Google also likes it when you help impaired web users by making sure to really describe your website for screen readers, making your title correct and your description and captions correct. You can actually SEO these images and they'll do you a lot of good with Google being able to look at images. Because as you remember, Google's really more of a code reader. It's really not a visual thing. So it's really looking to this stuff right here to determine what this image is about. And their image stuff is getting much better these days, so who knows? But I know from experience that that's the kind of thing that will help out a lot with your image naming. And the last thing is interlinking. Interlinking pages is pretty important. Like when you have articles and those articles link around your website, when you link your articles up to your main site or into important pages on your site, I explained this once, but I'll say it again. It's really good to use image names. Link name, like the text of your link, the inner text of your link, to make it the keyword that you're trying to push on that page. So if I had an inner page that was a post like a blog post, and I was linking whatever that post was to my homepage, and I wanted to rank for Chicago's Rose Shop or something like that, I would want to link in with my keyword actually saying Chicago's Rose Shop. And if I have a bunch of those across my site, tons and tons and tons and tons of those linking into this, and they all say that, Google's going to start to get the idea that my homepage is probably about that, and that my keyword that I'm trying to rank for is that. And that's just a few extra little SEO things for somebody that really doesn't know or hasn't ever done this before. This stuff will kind of get you in the right direction. And I think that was worth sharing. Just making another quick video because we're really wrapping down to the end of this series on the beginner part. And then I'm going to begin a series on actually taking the site and turning it into a real local business site. I think I'm going to start a couple of series that are sites I've done in the past for customers and build them again with all the specs I had as if they were real ongoing current projects, so that people could see what it was like to build websites professionally, or see what it is like, at least from the way I've done it. And I think that will help people a lot too, learning from real-time experience, seeing how I kind of came up with the stuff I came up with. But those are going to be in some future stuff. That's going to wrap us up for 23. 24 might be the last video of this series. I might push to 25. I'm not sure yet. and we'll just have to see about that. But if you implement some of this stuff, should help you go a long way, along with some of the other SEO stuff I gave you. And if you want to check out a Yoast video, I'm going to have a review on Yoast up pretty soon, aside all-in-one, so you can kind of get an idea of what they both do. They're basically the same thing, just different ways they're set up. Anyway, that's it for 23. Like, subscribe, hit the bell. It'll help me a lot, and it keeps me motivated to keep making more videos. And I look forward to seeing you in part 24.